All right, we're live. Zero sugar Coca-Cola. Is that something you normally drink?
No.
It looks like death water to me. It's even got like black death around the edge of it.
Wendy drinks this stuff, and so Mike brought some in today for our Fun Lunch Friday, so I'm going to have one.
Oh, is this going to be a regular thing?
Yeah. Sponsored by Coca-Cola.
Fun Lunch Friday.
We usually do it when you're not around because you ruin all the fun. But we just happen to have it today while you were here.
Oh, okay. Got it. Oh, boy.
And did you enjoy your brat?
No, that cheese one was nasty.
Oh, you got a cheese one?
Yeah, I should have gotten a regular one. I think your cooker is a little lackluster. That's probably the deal.
It was a Uline gift, so...
Yeah, and you were trying to stash it somewhere in the freaking cabinet. Michelle told on you. She didn't know it. But I'm like, get that freaking crap out of here.
No.
So we have the new side, which we'll talk about here today, and there's a little micro kitchen thing that I'm about to rip out and throw in the trash that everybody's all excited about. I like to keep employee morale down. That's my general goal, is to keep morale as low as possible, so that way everybody keeps working and doesn't have any distractions but to work all day, every day. Slave driver.
So anyway, yeah, we had a Fun Lunch Friday here. It was fun. Did you, I had in my notes here to check in. Last week you said you were on day 4 of clean eating or whatever it's called.
Yeah, I'm
and
doing
so
great.
I said, okay, I'm going to check in next week. It'll be day 11.
Yeah, I'm doing great.
So you had your cheat day on Sunday, right?
Oh, yeah.
What was the cheat day? What did that consist of?
What did I do?
Michelle's telling on
So for breakfast, I think I ate half a loaf of bread.
you. Just bread. Nothing on it.
With peanut butter, butter, and apple butter. Yeah,
Okay.
So I ate that, like, I don't know,
Ooh,
six or eight slices of that.
Sounds good.
And then I had probably a half a gallon of milk to wash that down with. And then let's see.
What did you say you had, Michelle? Tortellini something?
Yeah, well, that was for
Pasta?
dinner. But I was so full and sick by the time it was time to eat any kind of substance food that...
The little French twirl.
Yeah, so they're like, it's like a pastry with Crisco and in the middle. That's what it is, but it's the most delicious. That white cream.
So it looks like a cannoli kind of.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So I ate a package of those. Ate a bag of like family size bag of kettle cooked barbecue chips.
Ooh.
Had probably half a dozen of Publix s'mores, their bakery cookies. I don't know what
That's
else.
quite a cheat day.
And a couple other 1,000 calories. But it's like negligible at this point. What's another 1,800 calories? Just a normal human's diet. But I was back on. Boom, back on.
Nice.
Sweating all night, sweat sleeping all night, and then back on. That's what I'm doing for a while. I rode my bike. Had to stop 5 times because I put a new carbon seat post on it, and I didn't put the right carbon grease or paste on it, so I thought it was going to snap in half, and so then I had to get a ride home. So we're not off to a good start with the new bike.
Well, on that subject, Adam from Gonzo Detailing wanted to know, have you settled on a saddle for your new bike yet?
I think so. I think the Specialized Phenom. Well, I think I like it. But I couldn't tell because I was having to stand up the whole time because I thought the seat post was going to break. But I think it's just carbon on carbon. It needs, I forget what it's called, the carbon paste stuff with like silica in it that holds it together.
Let's see.
Just spray it with some SiO2 and everything will be fixed
There
in
you
the
go.
world.
Spray some bead maker in it. Luke R wants to know, how was Halloween? Did you dress up as a Corvette owner?
No.
Did you? You
I'm
go
not
with the kids
I'm
though?
not a freaking baby. I'm a grown-up. I don't get dressed up. No. But I did go with the kids. It was fun. Fun to watch them run around. I'm just eating my bugs. I'm sweating. But I didn't complain, right, Shelley?
Wow.
I'm
Nice.
working on that, just be present instead of feel like I'm wasting time all the time. So that's a
Right.
new thing. So I'm like, you know what? I knew I was going to do this. Let's roll. Let's do it. Let's fall asleep on the way home. I was like a trick-or-treater because I was all tired, carrying Kate around. She's complaining. She was just probably like I would have been complaining about it. So,
And you didn't eat their candy. That's good.
I ate 2 pieces of candy.
Which ones?
1 Twix. What's
That's a good
with
choice.
this bite-sized bull crap?
Fun size. It's fun size.
No, it's ridiculous. It's like not even bite size anymore. It's not like if you get like a fun size Snickers, you're like, holy crap, this is amazing. Because I don't understand this. So if you're gonna give out candy, step up your game, people. Like, don't get like the worst is like the variety pack of Smarties and Nerds. Like, no kid wants that garbage. Don't be cheap. Let's get it right. What I want to do is go to these, these are certain neighborhoods that are great for trick-or-treating. Michelle goes to, and I'm cringing because we're going to this place. I'm like, we don't live here. She's like, well, everybody comes here. So yeah, I'm like, but we can't really trick-or-treat in our neighborhood. There's 10 houses and they're a mile apart, so that doesn't help. But, if you're going to do it, they should, like, make it better. Like, let's raise some money. We gladly paid $25 a kid to come in there and go to Publix and buy some regular-sized candy bars and some regular Reese's peanut butter cups. Shoot, when I was a kid, I kid you not, in the darn trailer park, we'd come home with like a full king-size pillowcase full of candy. And sometimes, if we were doing really well, we'd like go to another neighborhood. We'd try to. My mom was a machine. We'd like run from house to house and get loaded up, and like restock. You'd have to dump and rebag it, get another bag. And our kids got like enough candy. Like I would eat in like 35 seconds. Like I could, if you pre-unbagged all these little dork-sized little Twix, I could eat them all in like a minute or less. What kind of crap is this? I almost wanted to take the kids to Publix and say, "Here's $15, trick or treat it up. Just here's Publix bag. Just fill it up with whatever you want." This is crazy.
So you had a Twix.
Nerds.
What was the other thing that you had?
A Milky Way, whatever, salty Milky Way things. But it was like it wasn't even enough to even do anything. I started to head down that path. I'm like, these are terrible, and I quit. That's a good. Gotcha. That's a good move. That's a good sign for me.
It is good.
So not even a hint of a full-size candy bar anywhere. What are these people? What's wrong with them?
Yeah, people in the chat here are talking about the weather where they were. It was 90 here yesterday.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, it's horrible.
Ohio is 37, says Larry, and the wind was blowing. So, it was hot.
Why would you live there would be my question. I'm not doing that. I'd rather be 90.
Yeah. The high is like 74 today. It's nice, though. Let's see here. We have a super chat question for you from Tom and Debbie. Why not sell an OG version of the Krensla HD10? Many people have 220 volt power and 50 hertz motors can run at 60 HV, whatever that is.
You would need like a 23 amp circuit to run that. They don't make it. Like you'd have to have. It's not that simple. You don't just call up Krensla and say, "Hey, I want you to make this." So that took me 2 years to get the 1322. So, to do a Euro conversion, it requires a different winding. So the motor, the electric motor, has to be different. The capacitor's different. The plug is different. The GFI is different. If they don't have GFI there, so it's not as simple as it sounds.
Gotcha. I want to go to Dan here. Dan is always one of the first to chat here up in Minnesota. Hey, Matt, looking forward to your SEMA coverage this year. Anything specific you'll be doing or seeing this time? Looks like you'll be appearing at the PNS booth.
Yeah, I always get suckered into I don't want to make any schedules, and somehow I've got 5 appointments. I don't know how that happened. I'm going to nail down microfiber version 3.0. So I'll be hanging out with the Rag Company boys doing that, seeing all the towels and just kind of getting my bearings straight after doing the M5 and going through the whole process. I think I know what I want to do there, just based on what I'm using and what I'm not. Let's see, Air Tools. I'm gonna finalize what my thought process is there, with probably Chicago Pneumatic, unless I find something different. What else was I going to look at? It'd be interesting to see if ScanGrip comes out with anything interesting. But other than that, I'm just going to go. I was thinking a lot about trying, like I'm going to the Motor Trend, whatever their sort of opening thing is with Rob from Veloci got me in there. And I was thinking about attempting to pitch a show to somebody about, doing, traveling around doing garages. And then I was talking with another friend of mine who has participated in a lot of these shows that they do. And it's like it's so contrived that they just would never let me do what I would want to do, which is do me, do real. And so I don't think I'm going to just pursue it on my own. I'm going to be doing the VinWiki Garage here in the next month or so. We're doing the garage giveaway. I'm going to be doing a really famous person's garage here soon that I think we'll be able to share. I can't share who, but someone really cool that I'm excited to go, and hopefully we're going to do. It's a roughly 10,000 square foot garage, and we're going to do all Sonic. Sonic introduced me to them, and so he seems pretty pumped. He's hiring his architect and his builder, and so from there, I'll hopefully be a part of the design and be able to share that with everybody, doing just awesome stuff. So everybody be fired up. If this happens, I'm be fired up. I'm sure most people will be fired up to watch it. So
that's the SEMA plan.
Correct. Yeah, I'll always be looking at lifts and cabinets and and flooring and all different types of options.
All right, I think I have an easy question here from you, from EC on Facebook. On the GT3 RS last ride video, which was audio bliss, what was the mic setup that you used? It was a perfect blend of the exhaust tones and you talking.
Well, the key for car videos is don't frickin' put a microphone back on the rear bumper like everybody does. Since when do you strap yourself to the back of the car with duct tape and with your ears next to the bumper? So not only that, but then why do people put a camera? You put a camera on the exhaust tips. It's because you don't know how to use a mic. You take your GoPro with a crappy mic and you stick it next to your exhaust tip. What does that tell? It tells you absolutely nothing, because one, the audio is crappy, the GoPro looks ridiculous. You're not looking at anything, and you get sound that doesn't tell you anything because you never hear that sound in real life ever. You either hear a car driving by you, so you set up a camera with a stereo microphone as it drives by, like I do all the time, or you put a microphone in the car with you next to your ears. And so what I do, it's a really inexpensive option. You get the GoPro mic adapter. I hate GoPros. I got to figure something else out. There just really isn't anything with that level of stabilization that works that well. And so GoPro with a GoPro mic adapter, and then Edutige, Edutige, however you spell it, EDUTIGE, I think, on Amazon only. And it's an ETM-008. And you plug that, so that's the omnidirectional or unidirectional version. You don't want the directional version because then it won't pick up the stuff around you. And then you keep it clipped to your seatbelt. If you have two people, you can just put a Y adapter, just put a splitter, and do two of them, one on each whatever we call it, seatbelt. And I tend to try to move it down if the windows are open and move it up when they're not. And that captures the sound of the engine. It captures the sound of you speaking and tends to do pretty well. Gives you an accurate representation of what it would sound like on board instead of some stupid, microphone in the back of the car that makes no sense.
All right. Our special guest is heading out here. Let's see. This is a question from Jazz50 on Instagram. What is your favorite type of pasta? Linguine, fettuccine, ravioli, etc. Just curious.
Tortellini. That's my favorite. With some 5 cheese. And then what you do is then you get more cheese. So here's the spec, the Mormon spec.
Mormon spec tortellini.
So you could buy the 5 cheese, whatever, Bertolini tortellini. Okay, you with me?
I'm with you. I'm going to look up this picture.
And then you get 5 cheese Classico sauce.
Okay, so we're at 10 cheeses now.
Right. And then you buy, a bag of, I like mild cheddar, mild cheddar, whatever.
The shredded
the shredded cheddar, yep.
Okay.
And then you dump that in there, and you mix it all up.
Mm.
So you got 11 cheeses.
11 cheese.
11 cheese tortellini. That's the way to go.
All right.
The problem is I only do that on a cheat day, and by the time I get to that, I've already eaten a bag of potato chips and 4 French twirls, and I'm too sick to eat it, and I eat like 9 tortellinis, and I'm done. And I make a batch, of course, for 3 families, and then I end up throwing it away every time. It's not very good secondhand or whatever, leftovers.
All right. Let's shift here I want to go to, there's a couple people in the chat who have this question, and Jerry from Facebook. If I'm already a Hex member, does that count towards entries for the giveaway? Short answer is no.
No.
And then Jerry says, is it set up on the site to renew Hex Plus membership for additional entries into the garage giveaway? And the answer to that is no, not yet. If you have a Hex Lite and you want to upgrade to Hex Plus, which a lot of people have wanted to do, you can email Kyle at Obsessed Garage, and he can help you with that process. He does his thing, and I have to do something on my end, and we can get that fixed for you.
So how many entries does that get someone?
The Hex Lite is 10 entries, because remember the base stuff is 5 entries this time.
Yeah.
The Hex Lite is 10, and the Hex Plus is a total of 30.
Got it. So you'd get 20.
Correct. When you go from Hex Lite to Hex Plus.
Got it. Which we'll figure out whatever the odds are at the end of it, but
right.
We're doing that to help eradicate the tools that send in a note card. That I don't think we've gotten any, have we?
We got 3 the other day, actually. Yeah.
Screw them.
It was Tuesday because Bryce wasn't here in the afternoon, and so I sent him pictures like, here they come, Bryce.
Yeah. Losers. Don't send those in. Just know that I'm looking at you, I'm Googling your address, and I'm making a mental note of who you are. And you'll never, I'll look at you when I see you in person and give you that stare of disgust. So the other thing is, buy a shirt or a hat or a coin. If you don't want anything, then just buy a coin and punt it in the trash. And that'll get you a couple spots. And what does that get you, 5 spots or something like that?
Mm-hmm. 5 entries for a coin.
Yeah. So I keep saying it's going to be freaking awesome. I can't wait to, like with the 1M, I was nervous about giving that away because I'm like, what is the dude going to do? How am I going to get it there? This is my wheelhouse, man. I'm ready to roll. I can do it. I can do it no matter what. I just hope that somebody wins it that has a garage. That'd be the best. It'd be great. If not, somebody wins 30 G's and gets to come here and hang out.
All right, I have a couple questions here regarding Press-All bottles. Number 1 from Joe on Facebook. Are all other offerings in the bottle/sprayer market so bad that there's nothing worth carrying in the OG store while we stand by through Press-All development?
No, there isn't. I mean, they're so cheap and so easy to get. I mean, you just buy a Tolco sprayer and a Tolco bottle of sort. And I've just been slumming it using whatever bottle the product comes in until I figure it out. Quasar bottles are of similar ilk to Press-All, and they all have the same issues. And I think when this is all said, I think it's highly unlikely that we get these the way we want them. But I'm going to try. I've been saying this from the beginning. I don't know how they're going to respond. I don't even know what the second iteration is, and that's got me frustrated. Is that, like, how do we not have, like, a long, drawn-out conversation about what you're going to fix? Instead, just fix them. And I just had another bottle, so the longer they sit there torqued all the way down, the quicker it works through the tips. So what I'm thinking they probably did was just shorten the engagement, shorten how tight it needs to be up. At least I hope so. If that's the case, then we've got something good we can work with. The other issue is intermittently some bottles just start juicing out the bottom of the handle. It drives me crazy. So hopefully they've addressed that as well. And so I never did the Google Docs because I'm going to save that juice for the second round.
All right, along those lines, Modest S5 from Instagram wants to know, do you have an availability date for the Press-All bottles? No, not exactly. Supposedly they're here in the United States finally, though.
Oh, they are?
Yes.
Okay. So then they sit in customs for a while, and then depending on where the country of origin was and what the current, economic conditions are, and then they have to calculate how much more money I got to pay them to get them. and then they just show up.
It's quite a process.
Yeah, so it's sitting at the port, and the custom agents. I don't even know how it all works, but
I think they're in Charleston at the moment, but they're close. Will they still come in various color, size, and replacement fittings? So they are all the same. We did order the exact same colors and sizes this time.
Yeah. Just in different quantities,
right,
responding to what the demand was. And then we should have replacement tips. I don't want to speak to that and what we're going to do with that until I see what we got. If we got them, then we're probably going to just have some sort of submission thing where just say how many tips you need and I'll frickin' send them to you. You know, because I don't think that we paid for those, but who knows? We'll see.
Let's see. James wants to know, how's the H2 Go holding up? I know you're still considering going back to Wolf's.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I need to drive in the rain a little bit more. It seems okay, but Wolf's is really great, I think. So I think I'm going to place that order here. We'll just place an order for Wolf's. Worst case scenario, it's not like cut and dry one way or the other. So it's not like if I have 300 or 400 bottles of Wolf's that over time we won't sell it. I'm not going to end up stuck with it because it's great. And so I think I should probably email them and get that moving because it'll probably take 8 weeks to get.
Those also come from overseas. That's also a bit of a pain.
Yeah.
Here's a question from Mike on Facebook related to SEMA here. Have you ever considered a SEMA giveaway? Most of us have never had the opportunity to attend, and I think many would enjoy going and seeing your new product evaluation process. There were some replies there to his comment about, it's industry only, and so then other people said, well, they could take a guest or their wife or spouse or whoever.
Yeah, I don't know what the rules are there. I certainly you probably wouldn't be able to publicize that in that, hey, anybody come with me that's not really part of it. So there are lots of people there that are not in the, you could loosely say you're in the industry if you're detailing your neighbor's car, so I don't think that's a big deal. But there's kind of like, it's like an unspoken thing where you're supposed to be industry specific in order to go. I don't know what the rules would be there, but I don't even buy my own tickets. I usually get them from a vendor so that I can have a vendor pass because I'm always there late, always talking with people, and that's something that I'm not sure that I could do. Oh, you know what I did forget about that I'm going to be doing at SEMA, which I just decided this morning, which you guys heard me talking about out there, is I'm going to be getting a Kaiser compressor for next door in the new side of the building. So I'm going to be talking with Kaiser. Once I get one, I'm going to start devising some way to have a purge, like an auto purge or an auto run feature. So we're going to build some sort of module or create some sort of modification for it. I don't know how or who or what. I'm sure someone will email me or message me saying they could do it for me, and I can buy it from them in quantity. But I'm going to probably get a Kaiser AirStation 5C and put in the other side of HQ here just because I want one. And I'm going to figure out how to make it so that it doesn't become an operational nightmare.
We have a comment here from Jason in the chat that I think you'll appreciate. He says he's going to send in note cards for the giveaway soaked in silicone dioxide and SiO2.
It's silicone. You have to say silicone.
Silicone?
I always just say silicone, and it sounds like silicone. But I mean silicone. I'm going to start doing that. Wolf's and silicone. Silicon Valley.
So much
silicone is a different thing. It's a different element.
Yeah, silicone is material.
Silicon. Yeah.
All right.
Silicon dioxide.
Let's see. Jonathan wants to know from Facebook, since you were looking at coding and PPF again for the .2RS, do you think you will be able to find an answer for your 1 year or 2 year refresh needs for that setup at SEMA, whether it's Gtechniq Halo, CarPro Essence Plus, self-healing PPF? What do you think will be the solution for the refreshing the look of your car when you hit that wall of needs like with this RS like you did with your .1?
I don't know. I think the solution is rip your PPF off and start over. It's funny, I was talking to XPEL about this, and they're like, well, if you use our coating, it's a 4-year coating. And so in 4 years, the coating has worn away, and you would just reapply. because the XPEL is technically warranted for 10 years. It'd be like my MacBook Pro being warranted for 10 years is not going to work very well 10 years from now. So your PPF is not going to look very good 10 years from now. So that warranty is ridiculous. I don't want the warranty fix. I don't want to have to deal with that, and I'm going to have to just. I don't know what the plan is. So according to them, is the self-healing capabilities of the top coat of the film. If you polished it, you're not polishing it away. I find that hard to believe. So I don't know, but I don't know enough about it. My guess is you could try using like an Iron X, an iron removal. You could try using something like HD Speed or CarPro Essence or something like that, just to kind of clean it up a little bit. You could try heating it. But in general, I think you're going to end up jacking it up longer term. You just don't know when your coating is removed in order to be able to put a new coating on it. So I think you could clean it up, but to reapply the coating, chances are there are going to be spots where you didn't remove it all, and then it's not going to stick. So that's the problem I have with the whole thing. So maybe you're just at that point, then you could just use the magical spray silicon dioxide sealants. Then you could just spray it on there and everything will just magically bead forever. Magic. It's magic. It's like, let's make, I think we should make a whole video series on spray sealants. Let's do it. That series will be one episode. It'll be 1 minute long of me putting them all in the dumpster all at the same time.
Patrick on Facebook, you may have addressed this just now. Do you have any thoughts or experience with self-healing coatings? Example, FeinLab, FeinLab. FeinLab.
Yeah. I mean, I guess they kind of work. The whole self-healing thing, I don't know. I mean, you just run a heat gun on it and it reflows, or the same thing with the self-healing part of you're sort of reassigning the molecular structure of the material. I've never used that coating. My suspicion is it would be difficult to deal with in certain conditions, like if you had humidity or something like that. But I don't know. I'm speaking about something I don't really know much about. I don't think I've ever really even seen it used, or I've never seen it installed. But again, my wager would be it takes a lot of expertise to get it on and a lot of work to make sure it's done right, but that's just a guess.
All right, let's see here. Ephraim wants to know what happened with Hyperwash. Why did you decide to stick with Adams car?
Well, I finally came to the conclusion. So the one thing that would have tipped the scales was if I could take Hyperwash, leave it in my tap water bottle, and then leave it in there for a week or 2 weeks between washes, and then if it still foamed, then I'd be all in. But it didn't. It's the same thing as Adams. Is that whatever the detergents or surfactants or whatever is in there it attacks the mineral content of the water, and then is sort of rendered kind of useless, and you lose a lot of the foaming capability of it. So you have to dump it out every time. Plus, I was noticing quite a bit more residue on the soap residue left over after a wash on the windshield, the top of the windshield, than I was with Adams. And so the Adams sort of came back and won out for me. So, and I used Hyperwash for probably 6 months or so. Probably use it 30 times, something like that, 30, 40, 50 times, and came to the conclusion that Adams is still my go-to.
All right, here, and Keith wants to know how you're liking your XPEL tint on the windshield. Looking at using that on his windshield. Yeah,
I think it's pretty good. I haven't noticed any milkiness like I do with other films. There's none of the byproducts of the weird looks of the 3M crystalline, and so I think it's a good film. I still think that Lumar is still better though. Like I get in my dad's WRX, I did Lumar CTX. It's still clearer. I think it's a clearer, optically superior film.
All right, let's see. Adam on Facebook says he's looking at either a 2008 Porsche Cayman S or a 2007 Corvette Z06. Which would you go with and why?
Yeah, Cayman S 100 times over. Yeah, I mean, it just depends on what you want. If you want to go really, really fast and make lots of noise, then, the Corvette's cool. If you're smaller and so if you're like 5'9" or shorter, it'd be probably not as annoying. And, depending on how many miles and stuff, the Z06 is going to have some, did he say Z06? What did he say?
2007 Corvette Z06.
Yeah. I mean, that thing's going to be a rattle machine, whereas the Cayman S is going to be like, feel like even with 50, 60,000 miles, is going to feel like a nice 60,000. It's kind of feel like a really nice, well put together car. If it was maintained, well, probably bulletproof. Whereas the Corvette's going to be a Corvette.
Do you happen to have an ETA on the 16-ounce bottles of hides? Yes, we do. I have tracking. It's supposed to be here Monday. The drama behind that story, he shipped out the first shipment. It got lost.
Really?
4 boxes of it, yep. They found 2 of the boxes and sent it back to his old address where he no longer lives. So we got that all sorted out. But, yeah, Monday is when they're slated to arrive. As soon as they're here, we'll get them in the store.
So I'm getting 4 boxes?
Correct. We're getting 200 bottles.
Got it.
Let's see. PCAR Art says, I recently sold my 997, looking to get into a GT car. Would you recommend a GT4, 997.2 GT3, or 991.2 GT3, considering the price differences as well? Should the GT4 be the no-brainer?
Well, there's a lot of advantage to being, to progressing. So if you went with a GT4, then that would leave you room to go to a GT3. And so I guess the ultimate path would be this year get the GT4, drive that for a little while, a year or two, and then maybe get a 997, GT3, and then drive that for a little while, and then you'll be able to compare and contrast the newer GT4 with the older chassis GT3, and then you could go and get a new GT3 and kind of experience that, and then maybe eventually work your way to an RS. That's what I would probably, if being who I am now as a 40-year-old dude and a bit more patient than I once was, I would, assuming money's not the major deciding factor here, where you have to get the certain one because of the price point. But I think that's the way I would do it, and just take the progressive steps and experience all the cars for a little while. I've never experienced the 997. It was I went 991 Carrera S right to GT3, and it would have been cool to take the progression. But I'm going to get. I think a GT4 is a different enough car that maybe you get the GT4 and you end up getting a GT3 to complement it at some point. They're very similar cars, but certainly you could have a GT4 and a 997 GT3. Those are very different.
Let's see. Adam wants to know: does Crenzola make a winter stabilizer to prevent damage to pumps?
No, you don't really need to do anything. The recommendation from Josh was to run RV antifreeze through it. So just stick a little, stick it a little in a jar and suck it through. But you don't really need to do anything. Just run the pump for a few seconds to where the water's dry, and you'll be good to go. Because unless you had like water sitting in the pump like fully primed, then there won't be enough water. Even if it did freeze and expanded, if you had a few droplets of water in there, it's not going to hurt anything because there's nothing in there to really damage. I mean, the seals are going to be fine. And so where the damage comes in is if you had it filled with water. Let's say you had primed with water, and then that water expanded and cracked the head of the pump. Otherwise, there's not really much you could damage.
Maddie1776 wants to know, when are the Clausens coming for the M3?
I got them. They're not good. I'm sending them back. So, yeah, they're freaking supposed to be, they should be like 18 pounds in the front. They were 23 and change. And I don't know what they're doing. I mean, I've called them again, emailed them, called them. I just called them 3 days ago, and they said, we'll get back to you. So, I don't know.
Let's see, J Martin 2382. Matt, have you ever used Rejects paint sealant? If so, what did you think?
Nope. I don't know what that is.
Let's see. All right, Nick Delaney, Nick. When introducing your E92 M3, you talked about looking for specific options and spec. Can you speak on what they were and why you wanted it like that? I am looking to an E92 as well.
Yeah, with the E92 to me, I want is limited as possible. So I don't want a bunch of that junk. I don't want parking distance sensors if I can help it. So mine had rear, but not the front. So you want to eliminate parking distance sensors. You want to eliminate heated seats, because if you get heated seats, then you get the windshield squirter thing, or the headlight squirters, which you don't want. And so I think the unicorn car is to have manual seats. So a 2013 manual seats, as low mileage as possible, 6-speed manual, no nav and no iDrive. So as what we call a single hump car. And then you don't really need like any of the other options. You'd want competition package, but I always end up eliminating competition package basically by pulling off all the stuff, taking the wheels off but I think you'd want a competition package.
Let's see. Gio wants to know from Facebook, in your post regarding Luxor detailing cart ideas, you shared a picture from them showing hanging bin add-ons. Are these available anywhere? They look useful for storing towels on a cart, at least as a stopgap until innovation leads to a better OG solution.
Yeah, I think so. I think you can get them from them now. So I tried to get motivated, and I talked a lot about this on the Inside the Hexcast today. I tried to get motivated, but I just don't freaking care about a cart. Like, I tried to, I don't know if you guys noticed, but when I post something and I'm into it, like, I'm all over it. I'm following up, I'm liking, commenting, and I made the post, and I was like, never even looked at it. I looked at it once again, and just out of guilt. And basically what happened is the guy from Luxor is a good salesman, and he got me going on it, and then I'm like, well, let me gather some data. I'm not really into carts, but I know a lot of people are. And so I attempted to manufacture some interest, and then you guys made hundreds. I apologize for this, but you made hundreds of comments and shared lots of information, and it's been on my list of like my procrastination list, where I'm like, I got to get this done, and don't get it done. Just like I got to stop eating zebra cakes and I don't do it. It's that same fashion where I've got to get this done and I just don't get it done because I just don't have a freaking interest in it. So I've got to continue to stay focused on what I'm interested in, because if I'm not, it goes wrong. I don't get done what needs to get done, and then I'm miserable because I'm having to procrastinate on something that I just don't really care much about. So sorry about that. This is the first time I've done that in a while, where I kind of headed down a rabbit hole without really an interest, because there was an opportunity there. There's an opportunity to create something that maybe I would like, but I just don't have an interest in it. So I gotta stay away. It's hard to explain how hard it is for me to stay on track. And because I have so many, you see it, how many freaking opportunities I have every single day. Just incredible, all these things, and I can't do it all. And if I did, I would be miserable. Trying to chase every rabbit, chase every nut. I just don't. I can't do that, and so my bad. Forget the stupid cart. Maybe I'll be interested in that someday, but as of right now, I think the thing to do is do what Nick did and just buy a couple of the metal Sonic carts and call it a day.
Let's see. Oh, we're up to 341 people watching.
Sweet.
343. Yeah. So Friday afternoon probably is. Or prime time. Only 26 likes, though. Come on, slackers. Let's see. Nicolay wants to know, I know you've answered this before, but we'll address it again. What do you recommend to protect exterior plastics and vinyl convertible tops?
Aerospace 303. It's really simple. So I wash it just like normal. Just wash it like you'd wash your car with Adam's car shampoo. And then if you had some kind of spot or anything, use the heavy-duty vinyl and rubber cleaner number 39, the spot treat if you needed to, and then just treat it with 303. And just spritz them on there and wipe it off. Good to go.
All right, here we go. A question for me, finally. Engineer to detail, best barbecue in Ocala. Oh, that's easy. Big Lee's Barbecue is the best in Ocala.
Where's that?
It's a little, almost like a food truck setup over off Maricamp. He was on Guy Fieri's television show, had his own little run there with a 6 episode. His name is Rashad. We actually went to high school together, but his is by far the best. Hardwood Smokehouse is a close second because he's only open kind of on the weekends. So if it's during the week, go to Hardwood. Let's see here. So what will be the M5's fate? Is it a giveaway car? Will you be selling it? Then are you going to be on a new quest for a car from Michelle? What's the deal?
I think I'm done with car giveaways. Maybe I am, maybe not, but I think I'm done with that. I'm going to just list it for sale at some, at a premium. Still it'll be a deal, but listed at a premium over what a car. So generally what happens is you buy a car and you modify it, you don't get any of that money back. But that's for regular people, not for me. So because I've shared the whole thing and people know the whole story. So I'm going to list it for sale at some point, probably next year sometime, March, April, May, I don't know when. Probably earlier than that. So I'm going to list it for sale for, I don't know, $80,000-$90,000. And people are going to give me, yell at me and tell me I'm stupid and you're an idiot and no one ever gets the money. And then some 2 or 3 people are going to call me and then one guy's going to buy it for $90,000 because it's freaking awesome and he doesn't want to do all this crap. It's still a $135,000 car. Yeah, is it overpriced? Well, there's no such thing as that. I'm just going to list it, and then if someone buys it, they buy it. If they don't, they don't. And then if no one buys it, and if it's dead to me, so that's the question. I just don't know. I just wake up in the morning, some things just die to me. If it's dead to me, then and no one buys it at my ridiculous asking price, then I'll part it out, sell all the parts. I mean, I could probably sell all the parts really quickly. Go on, BIM Repose, take some photos. Most of it would sell on Instagram, Facebook Marketplace really quickly for those that have M5s that are following. And me, I always give it at a great deal. And so, again, even if I price the M5 high, it's still going to be much, much lower than if you bought an M5. First of all, it'd be hard for us to find one as vetted as mine was even when I got it. And then you'd have infinite amounts of energy, even if you're capable and you have the right tools and right circumstances to make it as vetted and as dialed in as it is. And then both mechanically, physically, and the cosmetically. And then I don't even know where I was going with that, but whatever. So I'm going to sell it, and it's just boring. It's hard, the freaking GT3 ruins everything. But it's so cool. You get on the highway, and I was doing like $110, just cruising for miles, like it's comfortable as crap. But then as soon as I go around to turn, it's like, oh, like this is a boat. And yeah, but it's cool. I mean, I've set it up well. It's as good as it's going to get. So I'm starting to think, I'm not thinking anything. GT4. I was going to say I'm starting to think, I'm always thinking about other cars, but I'm starting to think X5M. That'd be really all about getting a new X5M, but those darn grills are tough to deal with. They're giant. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing.
On the subject of the M5, Adam wants to know, when will the M5 and or the Corvette make the intro or the outro on the videos?
Well, I'm going to make a new intro, something simple.
People like those intros and outros.
Do they? Well, maybe I should redo that.
The revving of the engine thing with the Camry was a hit.
Yeah, I guess maybe I could do that. I don't know. I want something new. Bryce and Mike are finally kind of catching up to the chaos that I create. And so hopefully they'll get inspired to make something here, maybe when I'm gone.
Evan wants to know from Instagram, what are some of your tips for financing a car?
So the first thing you should do, ask yourself about leasing, right? So ask yourself about a lease. Am I going to lease? Does a lease make sense? Could a lease make sense? Do I drive, lower miles, and am I going to turn this car over and lose a bunch of money? What kind of car is it? And then where are you at in the buying cycle? Meaning, where are you at in the sort of the model cycle of the car? Is it an older car? Is it about to go out? Are they running some promotions? Are they running something crazy? Like at one point, the M5 that I have, the F10 M5 when it first came out, like 2014, 15, that sucker like was leasing for like $1,000 a month. So you could put no money down at like $950 a month on a $130,000 car. It was amazing. I mean, normally you would pay $1,500, $1,600, $1,800 a month for a car that expensive on a lease. And so they had just amazing residuals and low money factor, and then you could get even lower than that if you had the right, you purchased from the right place, and they gave you a discount off of MSRP and all of that stuff. So sometimes leasing can be really advantageous, especially if you own a business and you can write off a certain percentage of the mileage. When you own a business and you lease a vehicle, you can deduct whatever percentage you use that vehicle for work, dollar for dollar. So if I spend, I'll use to offset your income, not even a deduction. So if I have, $10,000 a year in expense and I use it 100% for work, which is, you have to justify that. So let's say it's 80% for work, and I spend $10,000 a year on the car, on the payments. Then I could deduct $8,000 against my income, just reduce my income by $8,000. Whereas if you finance a car and you own a business, you can only deduct whatever mileage you use. What is it, 51 cents a mile or 52 cents a mile, whatever it is now. It goes up every year. And so you can only deduct the mileage. You could either choose to compile how much could put all your receipts together and how much you spent versus just taking the standard mileage deduction. Then you have to report all your mileage and have a little mileage log and all of that stuff. So if you finance or own a vehicle versus leasing a vehicle, leasing is generally preferential in business ownership because your total cost of ownership can go down, especially if you're going to turn it over. If you're going to buy it, keep it forever, you're probably better off just buying it, depreciating it, and then deducting the mileage. So if you're financing versus leasing, a lot of it comes down to cost. What's the cost of ownership? What am I going to get leasing it? What's the residual value? What's the money factor? What's the ultimate purchase price? I forget, what do they call that? There's a number for that. There's a name for that. It's the purchase price. So how much you negotiate it's eluding me, the name of that, but. So versus finance, it's very simple to understand. The less I pay for the car, the less I pay interest on, the better deal I get. So with your lease, you have the purchase price, which reduces the whatever that number, that name is, I forget what it's called. The money factor is effectively the interest rate that you pay. And then you have the residual value. And so with a lease, you're financing the delta. You're financing the difference between what you're paying for it and what they say it's going to be worth at the end of the period, divided by however many months you have. So there's no benefit in a lease to putting any money down. You want to go in, no money down, because if you have the car, and you don't have gap insurance on it, and you total it, you're just out whatever you put down. So what a lot of people do is go say, well, I'm so worried about my monthly payment. I have $10,000 in the bank burning a hole in my pocket. So I'm going to take that $10,000, put it down. Then my lease goes from $800 a month to $400 a month. Well, if you total the car, then you're out that 10 G's. And they're going to just, take the car, and then you're going to have to go buy a new car or lease another car. So putting money down makes no sense. If you sat down and did the math, it doesn't help you at all. Unless for some reason it negotiated the money factor or something like that. But anyway, when you're purchasing, and financing versus leasing, it just comes down to what's the cost. What's the cost over that time frame, and then what are the factors? Am I going to trade it in? Am I going to sell it? Am I going to keep it forever? What am I going to do? And so the other option is just paying cash for it. So I gave an example of my GT3 RS. I mean, I could take that $150K. And I could turn it over 5, 6, 7, 8 times a month here through the business, or I could keep a loan paying 3.85% interest on it, and not have that money to buy stuff. So It just depends. So financing a vehicle, don't let anybody freaking tell you that you don't own it, the bank owns it. That's bull crap. My name's on that. No, they're going to come after me. They're going to take my freaking house, take my pictures off the wall. I mean, they generally won't do that, but they technically could. You know, they're gonna call in your creditors. They're gonna garnish your wage. I mean, they can do it. So I'm on the hook. The bank doesn't own squat. The bank doesn't want your car. They can repossess it and try to sell it, but they want you to pay for it. So just because you have a loan against it, a lien against the car, doesn't mean you don't own it. That's ridiculous. It's like saying you don't own your house. Of course you own your house. You just have to pay for it. So same thing with a mortgage. Why would I get rid of my mortgage? I can take that money and make a return. So then the question is, well, do I make can you make a safe return? Well, if you have time, it's easy to make a return. If you have a business like I do, shoot, you can make astronomical returns on that money. So to me, money has become more of a game and less of a necessity. And so I don't care about money. Money means nothing to me. It's just a tool. It's a tool that I use to live life. Buy the cars I want when I want them. Buy the things I want when I want it. And it's funny how much I've changed on this, on the planning aspect of things. Like, I'm not interested in putting a college savings account aside. I'll just frickin' pay for college when the kids go to college. They just send me a bill and I just pay it. So instead of saving up a bunch of money. But I'm fortunate that I own a business, and hopefully I can make lots of money and be able to do that. So we can talk more about that in about a year when I'm, not licensed anymore.
Let's see here. Our friends at Blendmount want to know, are you going to make a C7 Blendmount / mirror tap install video?
Yep. I got to get that thing done because I'm going to get arrested in that car. That's Chris.
I was a little worried yesterday.
Yeah, it's on the very, very short list. Like next project or so, to put that in there and take photos, make a video. We'll see if mirror tap or hardwiring makes sense on the car. I have to kind of play with it. I always have a hard time with mirror tapping because I never know which is plus 12 and which is minus 12. And you think as an electrical engineer I'd be a little bit more versed in that, but I hate trying to chase the wire. I tend to just run it to the fuse box, wherever the heck that is in the car. I got to figure that out, assuming it's behind the glove compartment in the kick panel somewhere, and then get the blend mount set up with the R7. Same thing with the GT3 RS. I got to get both of those cars with the blend mounts and the wiring and the radar detectors in there before I get in trouble.
Yeah, he said that at least 3 times yesterday when we were driving back and forth. I got to get a radar detector in here. Let's see. Z71 Black Mamba wants to know, are we still expecting the new Mosmatic guns / wands in early December? Do we have an update there?
No.
What's the update?
Probably late December, I think, right? If we're lucky.
I think that's
They're due to ship now, December 4th, supposedly. This is Mosmatic we're talking
from
here,
Switzerland.
So I made this very clear in the very beginning. And I should never mention even a day, because then people put that date on our calendar and start bothering Kyle. Nobody bothers me anymore because I just forward that email. So my guess is late December, early January.
Let's see. Engineer to Detail wants to know, if I'm able to brew a Zebra Cake beer, would you come to my brewery?
No.
That's good. It still tastes like beer. That's the problem. Dan O'Donnell wants to know, Michelin Pilot Supersport tire versus 4S. What is your opinion?
Well, you'd buy a 4S. The 4S is the evolution of the Supersport. You only buy a Supersport if you have to. That'd be the only, it'd be like in a Corvette. They don't make a ZP. They don't make a zero pressure of PS4 in that size. I don't think they make a zero pressure PS4 at all, as far as I'm aware of. So you had to buy a Supersports. Otherwise, the PS4 would be the new tire. That's what you'd buy.
All right, let's see. Noe wants to know, how do you like driving the Corvette without the roof? Have you driven it?
Yeah, it was terrible. My hair was getting messed up.
It was all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, I have the blink, squint because half of my head is hanging out the roof. So yeah, it was terrible. I hated it. I literally, then I couldn't figure out how to release it. It pulls. So I pulled over. So I'm like, I drove 3 miles. I'm like, I gotta get this roof back on. This is ridiculous. I pulled over to put it back on, and then I couldn't figure it out. And I remember someone was looking at me in the parking lot. I'm like, screw it. So then when I got home, you just pop it out. But I thought there was some sort of release latch or something. And I have such little interest in that car that, like, normally I sit down and kind of read the manual, and I haven't done that at all. That's why you see me crawling through the trunk, people yelling at me when the battery is disconnected and I couldn't open it. You should know if you read the manual, it would tell you that you just put the key in the back. I said, well, I didn't think of that at the time. I just jumped in there, and I'm on camera, and just hooked up the negative and popped the thing.
Brian Cal 77. Hello, Matt and Chris. Hey there, Brian. Glad you're here. Let's see. Dr. Phil is checking in with us again. Good. He was here last week. Wants to know, are you going to be doing 20.4? Are you doing that open workout?
No, I'm not doing the open this year.
Yeah, that workout looks like something you might enjoy, though. Have you seen it?
No, because you got to do pistols. It's stupid. It's the stupidest thing ever. I think I'm going to outlaw in my gym pistols, handstand walking.
Good.
And other stupid things like that.
All right.
We should do some one-legged burpees, and we should be doing some quadruple unders. Let's work on those. How about we just work out? So I'm excited to make it very, very simple and awesome.
Kevin P is checking in. Hello from BMW of North America. Hey there, Kevin.
Sweet.
Nice.
Stop making cars fart.
Yeah.
And I'll buy some. The X3 was promising for the new, whatever it's called, I think it was a G something, G9, G10, G something or other. The new M3. The F80 has caused so little interest for me in new BMWs that, like, I don't even know what's going on with the new M3, M4. And then they released this picture with these ridiculous grills. Like, they're as big as this table. Like, they're like this long. I'm like, what are they doing? God dang. Take the E92 and just make it modern. How about you do that? And you'll sell a bazillion of them.
1 bazillion.
How hard would that be? Let me come there and work there. I'll help you. Help you sell some cars. You should have a responsibility to not teach young, stupid people that popping exhausts is a good thing. Now there's even people doing burble tunes in freaking Corvettes. Like, the only good thing about that car is it sounds great. Why would you want it to pop? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Why would anyone do that? Freaking BMW. They did this. It's their fault. My beloved BMW is the one that created this whole thing that now every car pops and burbles, and the problem is every dum-dum loves that. And now everybody's taught to love that, and we're screwed. We're going to have this forever. This stupid popping crap and burbling and all this junk. Just make it sound like the engine sounds. We're not babies here. Oh.
Ryan's going to grow up to love that sound. It's going to be fun.
I'm going to smack him. Just open hand, slap him across the face. Like, do not say that in this household. My gosh, a bunch of idiots.
Russell wants to know, what would be the plan if someone with an unfinished garage wins the giveaway? Will you finish it, parentheses drywall, or will it have to be done beforehand?
I don't know. We'll figure that one out.
There's all kinds of variables.
All I have to say is you better get a frickin' vacuum out and sweep it first. This would be like, like my relatives when I'm coming over their house, everybody prepares. Like, if I come over to your house, I expect you to do, like, an extra effort cleaning before I come there.
Fine-tooth comb.
Yeah. You're like, oh, shoot, Matt's coming. So I want that same level of respect from somebody. Say, oh, shoot, Matt's coming. Let me clean this thing up a little bit. And then we'll, I don't know. Well, Mike's coming, so we'll frickin' drywall it.
There you go. See, that's why you're never invited to my house. I don't want to clean anything.
I believe that.
Adam says all the new BMW girls look like giant nostrils. That's a good way to put it, I guess. Have you rode the Yeti yet? From Jackson up in Vancouver, Washington.
Yeah, that's why I said I rode it to the gym the other day, and the freaking seat was messed up. So I rode 4 miles, but I haven't ridden on the trails yet. That's coming someday. Someday, maybe next year or the following. I'm not in any rush. It's so funny watching people comment on the videos.
Just drive the thing, ride the thing.
No. How about this? No. What are you going to say about that? Nothing, because it's my bike. my life, but I am sharing it. So you can say whatever you want, but I'm going to tell you, no, I'm not riding it. Does that make you angrier to know that I'm paid for it? Overpriced. That's my new term that I hate. Overpriced. Stop saying overpriced. Don't say that. There's no such thing. If it's not priced correctly, no one will buy it.
The market will speak.
Bingo.
It'll go away. Everything's overpriced to someone somewhere.
Yeah.
Let's see. I want to go to Clinton here on Facebook. Matt, I'm excited by the garage giveaway. What would be your advice to someone who has a garage but might not have the space for all the amazing items, such as a compressor, drop reels, etc.? My current garage was built in the 40s or 50s. Would that be still be a candidate for the OG spec garage, etc.?
Yeah, we'll figure something out. I mean, maybe we build a little room off the side of it or something, and that'll be part of the design. So let's say, just thinking about this logically, let's say that you only have room for like a 10-foot array of cabinets instead of the 20-foot, and so that means we can't fit quite as many tools, and then we can't do an 80-gallon compressor. We can only do a 60. Well, maybe what I can do is help pay for, put a cabinet. We're going to do whatever we need to do to make it great. And again, it may not be a 2,000 square foot masterpiece, but we're going to go in. The whole concept of this is to go in and change somebody's life, to change somebody's car guy or garage life. And that may or may not be a 2,000 square foot garage with everything, perfect. It'll likely be something like what he's talking about, where we got to go in and the smaller the garage, the less it's going to cost. So, we'll allocate some money towards fixing some things up and maybe building a little shed or a little closet or a little something like that. That may mean we don't get it done as early, so it may have to be in March or April when the spring comes. We may need to get some permits or something, but I'll make it happen. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, there's a million different combinations out there that it could turn up as. We'll see.
Yeah.
See who wins.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here.
I'm drinking this Zephyr Hills, dirt water.
Oh, yeah.
It tastes terrible.
Megan hates that water.
Ugh.
Just Drive wants to know, is Matt into watches?
No. I have an Omega Seamaster Planet Ocean titanium face or whatever you call it, bezel and band, and I never frickin' wear it. I wish I never bought it. I paid $13,000 for it. And I probably could sell it for $2,500 if I'm lucky. I should have bought a frickin' Rolex, and then I would have been able to sell it. But I don't know. I've just always been an Omega fan. I just like the style of those watches. And so I bought one, and I didn't want to buy it online. I just don't know enough how to buy it properly, so I wanted to just go in the Omega store, know that I was getting an authentic, watch, and I'd keep it forever. And so I'll probably just keep it forever. But yeah, you never see me wearing one because my hands are always tucked in somewhere. I don't even wear a freaking wedding ring, mainly because my finger got too fat. But I don't know. I'm just not a jewelry watch kind of guy. I did just buy an Apple Watch thinking I'd wear that thing. It's not looking good. It could be a heavy discount Apple Watch on the OG Marketplace here coming up. Don't send me an email. I haven't even set it up yet. So don't send me an email offering to buy it for $50. I need to at least charge it and set it up. Too many projects, man. Too many.
Let's see. Collier Sam wants to know, hey, Matt, with the M5 days coming to an end, would you consider getting a new 2020 RS6 now that you'll be getting them in the United States?
Yeah, maybe. It's just going to be so much money, an RS6 Avant is probably going to be, my guess is at least $125,000. Maybe I'm off, but I think it's going to be a lot of money. And I don't know. I just have a hard time spending that much money on a car that I don't care that much about. And I don't know. We'll see. I could see myself getting one, but I'm not sure yet.
All right. Tim wants to know, what are your opinions about an ECU flash on my base Cayman? I don't know anything about it.
New base Cayman, turbo, yeah, do it. I'd absolutely do it because you'll gain tons of power. Forget this freaking warranty bull crap, but you just gotta have the odds are like a very, very small that you may have some sort of issue, and just own it, and you're just gonna have to pay for it. So if you can't afford to do that, then don't freaking tune it. But people are so worried about warranties. I don't live life based on a warranty. I do what I want. So, I mean, unless you're, up to your eyeballs and you're paying, $1,500, $1,200 a month and you only make $2,800, and you got a mortgage and kids, and that's going to be tough to swing. So if you can afford a, $2,500 repair because you got to buy a new fuel pump and some injectors or something because something went wrong, then then I say I freaking tune my face off. I don't care, But if you can't, then and there's like the 3% chance that something blows up because you use some janky tune. That you just have to go into that accepting your fate instead of. I think that it'll all come back around on you. There's all these punks that tune the crap out of cars and things are problematic, and then they try to get the tune off of it, and they take it into a dealer and I don't know what happened. It just blew up. That is unacceptable to me. That'll all come back around on you at some point in life. No, I believe that.
All right. Have you heard anything from the 1M winner? Is he enjoying it? Has he sold it? Do you know anything at all?
No, he's the best. He listened to me perfectly. He just took it, and he's gone. I love it. I'm sure he's watching and listening and keeping track of what's going on. I appreciate that. If he needs me, he knows how to call me. But yeah, nope, I haven't heard word one. And it's okay. Once the car's done, it's dead to me. So I'm not nostalgic like many people are about cars. It doesn't matter to me. It's just an object. So just like money is just an object, it doesn't matter to me. I'm not beholden to it. So the car's gone, and it went to the right guy. I love the fact that he chooses to do what he wants. He'll fix what he needs to fix. He'll live the way he wants to live with it. He'll sell it when he wants to sell it, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I know that wasn't the question, but that's my feelings on it. I'm fired up about it. Could not have gone any better. Couldn't have gone to a better guy, and he can use it to hopefully help, use it in his life however he sees fit. I love that.
Danny says it's nice to see you guys wearing matching shirts again. It's been a while.
This is an accident. I haven't worn this shirt in a long time too.
Yeah, I like this shirt.
I forget about it. Forget about the other colors. I'm always wearing black. It's the chubby hiding black. At least I believe it hides, but it really doesn't.
Hello from Pakistan. Excellent. Welcome from Pakistan. That's a long way away. Hey now, 295. How about organizing a cross-country road trip during the summertime? I think that sounds like Matt's worst nightmare.
I'll meet you there. You guys organize it. I'll start at the starting gate and end at the ending gate and meet you there. God bless you people that can sit in a car that long. I can't do it. I can't do it, man. Hate it. That's why I ship my car. It's only a few hundred miles. I ship my car to Atlanta and fly up there. It takes just as long to fly as it does to drive, but I hate that sitting there in the car. You're a road tripper, though. You like doing that.
Yeah, I like those stuff, but my cars are a little more built for that than that Corvette.
Well, the M5, you jump in the M5 and roll, but man,
it's a long time.
Guys who do like gumball rallies and stuff, man, I can't even imagine.
Get you a good playlist and some combos, and you're set. Let's see. Guy wants to know, or Guy, will you offer the Comet 1700 extra without the hose, reel, wands, etc.?
We were just talking about this the other day, Bryce and Mike, and everybody's kind of hanging out. You know what's so cool is like, actually, this is going to make Chris look bad because he was out of here. I'm like, why don't everybody go home? Well, Chris, you're older than all the young guys, but
kid to pick up.
Yeah, but it's so cool. I'm like, everybody, just get out of here. Go. We've worked our face off, getting the move out of moving all of the owner of Chris's stuff out of there into a storage unit. I'm like, it's like 2:30 or something like that. I'm like, let's just call it a day. We've got pretty much everything shipped. Nothing, we'll get the rest of the stuff out tomorrow. and then everyone's just hanging around. And we ended up hanging around later than we normally did, where we're just chatting about what we got to do coming up, which is super cool. So we were talking about, I have a new garden hose adapter for all the inexpensive pressure washers, so we don't have to deal with these plastic things. We've got stainless steel fittings. We got M22 15 millimeter type fittings. So I've got to revamp some of these packages, which is a huge. I don't think people understand how big of a project that is, and how big of a project it was to begin with. So I'm going to finish the spreadsheet, copyright the spreadsheet, publish the spreadsheet. So I think that's a good winter project, after we get this place set up. So while I'm doing that, I'd like to start chasing, with the manufacturers. They know what I want. I have to lightly suggest these things. Same thing with Krenzel, same thing with AR and all these companies. So I suggest it, and then I call them on it when it pops into my head, and then ask again, and then I start to design and devise what I want. For Comet, we were working really hard, or they were working hard to get it in one box that's shippable. So they've been focused on that, and so I've got to then, after that, once they figure that out, then hopefully I can say, well, take that box and make a new one, and get rid of all the junk, because we don't want any of that stuff. It's just, in the end, I don't think it's going to save all that much money, because those accessories are worthless. Probably cost them nothing. So I don't know, but it would be nice to see the price point come down. That's why the AR is so cool, because it comes with nothing, none of the junk. I don't want any of that junk.
All right, Danny wants to know, Matt, with all the work you've been doing on the cars, what power/impact tools are you using and liking? Would you ever consider selling them in the store?
Yeah, that's a good thing. I don't think Milwaukee ever goes to SEMA. That's something I'd like to start working on. That's a good point. I'd love to have all the Milwaukee line. I think I can add value to that. I just don't know how that would go. It would be something similar like Ego, where they just won't veer outside of the box. I don't know. I mean, Milwaukee's really good on social media. At least they were. They seem like they've kind of, maybe I just haven't been following as closely, but it seems like they kind of tailed off on their social media focus. But I would love to be able to sell those products, because I think I could add some value in sifting through their line, because there's so many different tools. I think that I could add some value there. So that is on the medium list.
All right, Noe is searching for hints here about this famous person garage. Is the famous person with a 10,000 square foot garage a YouTuber?
No. Right. Way bigger than any of that. Especially in the cars garage. He's not a cars and garage. He doesn't have his fame from that. But he, you guys it'd be so cool, so freaking awesome. And I think it's a done deal. I think we're doing it. Yeah, it's gonna be incredible.
Have you ever looked at the new Volvos? I looked at X5s, but ended up going with the new XC90. Really love it.
See, I don't really have a need for that, because I think Michelle is best suited in the Raptor type. Man, if they came out with a new V8 Raptor, I'd be all over that. It'd be sick. Which I don't know that they will, but I don't know why they just don't take the freaking motor out of a F-150 and put it in there. So yeah, I think they're cool. That is an SUV I would certainly consider. It's kind of like when I start thinking about an X5, I'm like, it's not going to replace the truck, so why don't I just keep the freaking truck? That's what I'm always thinking.
All right, we're almost to 400 people watching. That's pretty good.
That's sweet.
Ivan on Instagram asked a question that a lot of people asked, actually. Are you having a sale again on Black Friday?
Yeah. Yep. 10% off, free shipping. I don't know how we'll do that with the giveaway. We need to figure something out there, what it would be involved there. Maybe we do 15% off. We'll see where we're at in the giveaway. If we're break even or close to it. Where are we at on that,
Yes, I do know. I'll show you here in a second.
But we, I think, depending on where we're at in the giveaway, I may try to spice that up a little bit. So we've raised what, 30-something thousand profit?
No.
Oh. What are we
That's
doing?
that's the number so far.
I can't see that. What does that say?
Sorry.
Oh, 20,000.
$20,080.
Okay.
And then I'm using our cost on these numbers here. I figured out the our cost, not retail. So that's where we are.
Okay, got it. So
We got a little ways to go.
yeah. So we're not quite halfway to break even yet. So we'll see. I may do something with that. I'm so keen to. I just don't want to devalue things, but yeah, I mean, I think 10% off. I'd like to talk to Saber about doing something. We got something really cool with Sonic as well that I'll probably launch at the same time, and that's going to run through like a good portion of next year. So that's something that I'm working on. It's going to be pretty sweet. We're going to be getting some MSS Plus stuff in different areas of my house and HQ here to be able to demonstrate that. Yeah, there's going to be lots and lots of cool garage and product focus over the next year. Product focus and product development, making things better, including the pressure washing line and stuff like that we were talking about, and making it better. And that's going to require me to slow down a little bit on these car projects. That's just what I was interested in right now, and now I've really started to get interested in the garages because I want to build mine. And I want a GT4, not a freaking Corvette.
Let's see. I wanna get to this other question. I just lost it in the chat here. Sorry about that.
There's something else I wanted to talk about. What was I thinking about?
Your buddy Chris Kim is offering you $50 for the Apple Watch and the Omega.
Oh, both. Buy one, get one free for $50. Yeah.
Who named
sure.
Orange or Orangey your cat? Who named that?
Well, we didn't get a name for him. No one named them. He's orange. That's what happened. I'm like, are we gonna name this freaking cat? Because I don't know. I guess Ryan named Chloe, but the orange one never got a freaking name. They never gave him a name because they kept dying off. All his cats kept disappearing. So yeah, now he's called Orangey. Apparently, that's the dumbest name ever. I need to come up with a cool like German sports car name or something.
What do you think about E39 BMW M5?
It's too old. Too old and stinky for me. Nothing you can do about that darn, the old navigation display and stuff. It's old, it's heavy, it's kind of slow. They're 400 horsepower. Yeah, it's just a little too old for me. Same thing with the E60. The E60 too old for me.
All right, we had a couple people asking about an update on OGHQ. I think you've mentioned stuff in the Hexcast video, so what's the latest?
Yeah, so I was working on that all here today. So one thing I think you'll want to do, I'm feeling pretty good about my podcast that I did, the Hexcast I did today. I don't know, I felt inspirational. I don't know. I wish I didn't do any inspiration. I was just talking about my thought process. So I felt like I really got my point across well. And usually when I feel that, then I take a lot of heat because I said something that made someone feel bad about themselves or something. Who knows? Anyway, I was super candid and talked about the master plan for HQ and discussing the difference between goals and just having a plan. And the plan is never going to come to fruition. The plan is just a plan to me. It's just a picture. It's conceptual. Right? So I create a concept, and that concept has a greater good or greater meaning. The greater meaning for me is to pursue functional excellence in all things. And the beauty of functional excellence is that there's no definition. The functional excellence in general is not definite. It's just a thing. Whatever's excellent to you may be different than me. Perfection is definite. Perfect is perfect. Right? That's a definite thing. It's a point in space and time. Whereas excellence is indefinite. And so HQ for me is an indefinite thing. It will be infinitely changing. There is no perfect HQ, because by the time it gets perfect, I'll have to change it. And so what happens to me a lot is I think I was talking about this earlier in this podcast, but there's a lot of opportunities that I have. All these things coming at me from all angles. So how do I know if building this garage or chasing that new product or collaborating with this person or partnering with somebody? I talked a lot about that, about the very common question I get, and I don't want to discourage people, because I really enjoy them telling me their story, but I get this very, very often where people see my tendencies, they see their tendencies, and despite the fact that I'm sharing my exact existence, some people either think less or more, like they make up their own story around the story that I'm telling. And it just happens naturally. You could be telling me a story, and I may be heading down this completely different path than what you're telling me. I'm attempting to tell it as accurately as possible so that people can stick to the point, stick to the facts, rather than all this other made-up stuff. So just you want to try to make up less. If you're listening to words, listen to the words. Don't fill in the blanks. And so this happens a lot, where people will be watching me, and they're deciding that they're just like me, and they're organized, and they're neat, and they're probably good. I mean, they're probably better than me at a lot of things, and so they've decided that we're the same, and so that we should be partners. And by partners, meaning that I set up operations wherever they're at, and they take it to their area and all of that. But they're missing one big thing. I mean, you've got to have, there's a lot that comes with it. There's a primordial soup of a bunch of weird crap that has to come together for it to work. And so I'm focusing on building out the vision for HQ, the goal or the plan or the conceptual idea. And so I'm having to try to figure out, does Johnny or Timmy or Sam that sends me an email that's just like me, I don't want to discourage him. I want them to chase whatever it is they're chasing. Just do you. And I want people to send me their story, but I also need to know, which direction do I head? Where do I go? How do I pursue what it is at this moment in time I believe to be excellent? And how do I end up not watering myself down to the extent of where I never get anything done well? That was a big concern with starting Obsessed CrossFit, if I can call it that. It's right now it's Section 8 CrossFit, but I'm hoping to call it Obsessed CrossFit. I have to get approval for that. Does that mess it up? Is that fit the greater plan? Does it fit the greater vision? Does it fit today and maybe not fit tomorrow, and does it cause disruption tomorrow? Or can it fit today and just do its own thing tomorrow? And so I'm constantly trying to figure this out. What fits and what doesn't? Does partnering with Jim on this project or John on that project, or buying this thing or chasing this pressure washer or this thing? And I think the common thread is I have to be obsessed with it, just like the cart. There has to be an obsession. And so right now, my current obsession, as you see, I can't even sleep. I'm here early. I'm up early. I'm moving. I'm ready, because we now are leasing the entire building. And so I've got this new muse, this new project, this new thing to work on. Now, I don't own the building. I'm leasing the building. And so all the Dave Ramseyites of the world are freaking out about, you're wasting money on rent. You could be owning the building. I don't want to own the building. I don't want this building long term. I want to own some other massive property in the future. And so I spend a lot of time talking about this kind of stuff, about pursuing excellence versus being perfect, and what it is that I've planned out and how I'm using that as my muse to help me decide. And I still don't know the answer to a lot of these things when, like this gentleman I'm referring to sent me this amazing email and had this great idea about how to bring it to a certain country. And I thought it was great, but I just can't do that. Shoot, I can barely focus on building this place in order to keep engaged and keep doing what it is that I'm obsessed with. I'm obsessed with the freaking Corvette right now. I'm obsessed with hating it, apparently. It's fun, though. I'm obsessed with M5 and then the finishing of the M5. You can kind of tell I'm over the M5. I'm just finishing it because I said I was going to finish it, and then I can make a conclusion, which I've already made. The Corvette, I'm in the middle, so I haven't made any conclusions yet. But I do know that at the end of it, it's funny, I started to see some people come around when I'm doing the spark plugs. There's still a bunch of people, you don't gap them that way. You're doing this all wrong. But there's some people starting to come around and say, okay, I see where this is going. Okay. Got some boots for the plug wires. Maybe he's not an idiot. And then some people says he's an idiot, and then I get mad and say, well, let's have an IQ off and see what happens. Let's see you get on camera. God, I would love to have some of these people on camera. Just get them in front of a camera. Say, go. No cuts. We're not cutting. This isn't every other YouTuber where it's like, I cut, they cut, next day cut. They can't even put a sentence. I can't even do that. You can put a sentence together. It's cut, and it's like 37 cuts to make a paragraph. You can't do that. You're going to have to just sit there and talk. I'd love to see that. I keep getting sidetracked. Anyway, just go become a freaking member, and you might win the most amazing garage of your life, and then watch this thing, and you might change. You might help you out a little bit. It certainly helps me out to talk through it. By the way, I'm just sharing what I've learned. This isn't like me grandstanding about how bright I am. I'm sharing from this primordial soup, this confluence of all these people that have kind of helped me figure this stuff out. It's been amazing. And the one thing that really stuck in my brain when this email I'm referring to, which really made me think about how we should become partners, is that he kept talking about how he has a hard time getting people to do things the right way. And so he's constantly having to do it himself. And so the message of this whole thing was to figure out how you can live your life and find the right people where you don't have to do everything yourself. Because when I was doing that, I melted down. I was not nearly as successful as I could have been, and I didn't live a life that I wanted to live. And so you have to figure out how to not be that way. And if you can, you won't need to partner with some goof like me. You'll be so much better. You can just chase whatever it is you want to chase. You'll stop having these things where you're worried about how much money things cost and whether the bank owns it or you own it. Who freaking cares? None of that stuff matters. It's all just the objects of the game. If it all came crashing down, you could just start it over again. There was another interesting email I got with asking about it was a different thing, like a different business. So the other advice that I give to people is listen to hear what everybody has to say. So a good example of this is with detailing. I've heard what every place I've gone to, every training I've done. I sat there, I heard everything they had to say, I took it all in and processed it. I don't listen to anybody. That's very clear. I don't listen to what anybody says. I don't listen. When I say listen, I mean I don't do what they say. I do what take all the information and then do what makes sense. And so another younger guy had a question about a business he was thinking about starting. Of course, he wanted to partner with me so that I could launch it for him. And my discussion with him was, well, you don't have capital, you don't have an audience, you don't have a list of people to sell it to because you never sold anything. And you want to start it from scratch of some idea that you don't know if it's going to work. Obsessed Garage, it's not like I sat down and got a sheet of paper and said, how am I going to make $1 million selling detailing supplies? It just kind of made sense. These things, these opportunities, like to provide people with a pressure washing experience that was that differed from what existed or what was mainstream, and then providing that information in a relatable, hopefully understandable way, and provide some value to people, hopefully then turned into an opportunity that I saw, rather than me, selling everything, financing my house, quitting my job, and chasing some goofy dream, which can work, but usually it doesn't. That's not how businesses are created. So anyway, I don't know. I got on that sidetrack, but
That's right. I want to address one thing here before we call it a day. We had, I think, 3 or 4 people in the chat were asking about, okay, if I win the garage giveaway but don't have a garage or this or that. So the easy answer there is you have the option for $30,000 cash. That's the other option.
yeah, and and I fly you here, and we spend a weekend hanging out, and I'll tell you how to spend that $30K. You know, it'd be cool. They come here, they win the $30K, and they spend $20K here. I'm just kidding. Use the $30K to put a down payment down on a house.
There you go.
You know, that's the option. Second option for the grand prize is if you don't have a garage. Apparently, I didn't make that clear enough. You can choose to take 30 G's. If I were you, never mind.
All right, so there you go. It's
All right, I got to go back to obsessing over what I'm doing over there at the other side of HQ.
3:33 here on the East Coast. So hope you all have a great day, good weekend. Make sure to tune in next week. You'll be gone, so we'll have to figure out if we're gonna do one next week. We'll find out.
Inside the Hex is going to be juicy coming up.
All right.
Yeah, lots of stuff, lots of cool stuff with building a new business from scratch again. And how Michelle's going to do that, how we're going to do that, and I think you're going to find it interesting.
All right.
See you later. What do we do now?
I'm gonna go push all the buttons.
We go say, Bryce, get us offline. See you guys soon. Here, I'll do it. I know. I'm just kidding. I made this.